Okay, kiddos, let's go over the topic 3 test. Most of these I'm going to fly through because I know that you all have got these. Okay, so for this, you need to find the partial products. So you take this, you break it down into 100, 20, and 6. And you multiply those by 3. That would give you 300, 60, and 18. So 300, 60, and 18 are your partial products. And then you're just going to put those in over here. And you're going to find the sum. Sorry, I had to go turn down the TV because it was too loud. Okay, number 2, Alberto rode the train 198 miles, round trip 4 times last month. Explain how to use mental math to find the total distance Alberto traveled. So, mental math. You're not going to want to multiply 198 times 4. You're going to want to do...
Teachers, make sure you did print a sign-in sheet and keep roster of that after the open house. Just bring the sign-in sheet down to us.
Okay, so you're going to want to do, you're going to want to round that to 200 times 4. And when we do that, we're going to get 800, but we added on 2 for every time that we multiplied. So we had 198, 198, 198, and 198. Well, we added 2 every time to make it an easier number. So we have to put those 4 2s. We have to take those away from this. So this is going to be 800 minus 8 is going to be how we're going to do that mentally. And you're going to wind up with 792 miles. Okay? Number 3, Mr. Ortiz. A lot of you guys had a lot of trouble with this one, and it's really not hard. This is just a story. You have to tell yourself this story in your head, draw a picture of it, whatever you need to do. But we've got Mr. Ortiz. He sells bags of 25, tortillas in bags of 25 and in bags of 50. So if he sells 4 bags of 50 and 6 bags of 25, how many tortillas did he sell? Well, 4 bags of 50 each is going to be 4 times 50. 6 bags of 25 each is going to be 6 times 25. And if you want to think about quarters, like if you had dollars, you know that 4 groups of 50, 4 50 cents is 200 or $2. And if you had 6 quarters, you're going to have $1.50 or 150. So you're going to wind up with 350 tortillas. Okay. Number 4, what are the partial products when finding this number? Select all that apply. So for this one, all you're going to do is you're going to actually write this out. So you're going to have 1,870 and 4. You're going to multiply this by 3. And you're going to see what numbers come up in these boxes. Those are your partial products. So you're going to wind up with 3,000. 3 times 800 is going to be 24 and 2 zeros, so 2,400. 3 times 7 is 21 with a 0, and 3 times 4 is 12. So first thing you have to do here is select all of these. So you've got 3,000, you've got 2,400, you've got 210, and you've got 12. Now we just have to add those 4 numbers together, and that's going to be the answer to this. Okay, number 5. A science class is growing some fruit and vegetable plants on a plot of land behind their school. Each section is laid out in rows. There are 9 strawberry plants planted in each row. So you've got 65 rows times 9 strawberry plants for each row. That's going to be the problem that's going to answer this one for you. Write and solve an equation to find how many strawberry plants were planted. That's going to be 65 times 9. And you're actually going to have to solve it, but I'm not going to go through that with you. You can pause your video now and do that if you need to. Part B, there are 9 pepper plants planted in each row. Draw an area model and show the partial products to find how many pepper plants are planted behind the school. So for this one, they want you to do 18 times 9, but you have to draw your area model in order to do that. And that is just the box method. So you do 10 and 8 times 9. That's going to give you 90.
I need some Cody in the front office, please.
And you add those two together, you're going to get 162. Okay? Number 6, select all the expressions that could be used to find 1,235 times 9. We did this one a lot in class, so you probably already have this. However, this one, if you look really, really carefully at it, 1,230 plus 5. That one is a no. This one, they actually have the right numbers though. This one, 9 times 1,000, 9 times 200, 9 times 30, and 9 times 5. That one's going to give you the right answer. 9 times 1,235, yes, that's just using the commutative property to flip-flop them. This one is just ridiculous, and it's a no, because obviously you can add those two numbers and get the same thing as if you multiplied them. Okay, number 7, draw a model to find 365 times 3. So we're going to do an area model or the box method, however you want to call it. They both mean the same thing. So we're going to take 365, and inside these boxes you would have 300 times 3 here, which is going to be 900. 60 times 3 is 180. 5 times 3 is 15. And when you add all of those together, you get 1,000, that's wonky looking, 95. And then you're just going to put your answer right there. Okay, select all of the expressions that have a product of 640. This one, you're just going to have to work these out. Some of them are pretty obvious. 600 times 100 is 600. 4 times 10 is 40. 600 plus 40 is obviously going to equal 640. 9 times 54, if you break this one down, you're going to have 9 times 5 is 45, plus that 0. Then 4 times 9 is going to be 36. So if you add 450 plus 36, you're going to get 486. So no. 60 times 40 times 1. 60 times 4, sorry. 60 times 4 is going to be 240. 240 times 1 just leaves it at 240. So that doesn't equal 640. 160 times 4, we're going to do 160 times 4. That'll give you 400. That'll give you 240. And if you add those two together, you get 640. So that one's a yes. This one, they try to trick you with that. 600 times 40 is going to give you a much different answer than if you did 600 plus 40. So that one is a no. Okay, number 9, we did this one on our quizzes, and most of you did really, really well on this. The table shows the number of hot drinks sold in a busy coffee shop in 1 week. If the same number of cups of coffee were sold for 6 weeks in a row, how many cups would be sold in all? That one, you simply have to multiply 835 times 6. And I will let you get the answer to that one. I'm not going to go through it. Part B, the special drink of the month was an iced mocha. The shop sold 5 5 times as many iced mochas in 1 week as hot mochas. So the first thing we have to do is find out how many iced mochas we sold. It's 5 times the amount of hot mochas. So iced mochas is going to be 200 times 5, which is 1,000. So if they sold 1,000 iced mochas in 1 week, if they sold 1,000 iced mochas, then, sorry guys, there's somebody at my door and I completely got distracted. 5 total. Okay, so that's 1,000, and they sold hot mochas in 4 weeks would be 2,000 times 4. It winds up being 4,000. And guys, I'm so sorry. I just got completely distracted on that one. That one's not on the test anyway. I'm moving on. I'm so sorry. Okay, number 10. Tickets for a resort cost this much each for adults and this much each for children. Find the cost of 3 adult tickets and 3 child tickets. Explain how you know your answer is reasonable. We did this one as class as well, but if you've got this much for adults, this much for children, you're buying 3 adult tickets and 3 child tickets. So for adult tickets, we've got 1,182 times 3. For child tickets, we've got 459
Get your message right every time.
times 3.
Download it for free. Grammarly.
So we're going to work this one out. We wind up having 1,182 times 3. For this one, we wind up having 459 times 3. So we've got 3,000. Oops. 300. 240. And 6. 1,200. 150. 27. So we're going to add together these numbers to get the cost of the adult tickets. We're going to add together these numbers, these partial products, to get the cost of the child tickets. And when you do that, you're going to wind up for this one with 3,546, I think. You all know that my math is rarely perfect, so by all means, if I missed it, I'm sure you'll let me know. This one is going to be 1,377, I think. You have to add these two together because they bought all of these tickets, and you need to know how much they had to spend altogether. So 3,546 plus 1,377 So they spent $4,921 on tickets. The second part of the question says, explain how you know your answer is reasonable. The way that we would do that, hold on, let me focus this. The way that we would do that is by estimating each ticket and then doing the math again. So this would round to about $1,200 per ticket. This would round to about $460 per ticket. And if we multiply both of those by 3 and add them together, let's see what we get. So for this, you're going to do 12 times 3 is 36 with your 2 zeros. For this one, 460 times 3. Let's go ahead and do an area model for this one. you're going to get 1,200, 180. That's going to give you 1,380. I feel like my math is off there, so you guys feel free to let me know if I messed that up. Okay. Then you've got 1,380 plus 3,600. Oh, I know why my math is off, because before we rounded that to 500, which you can totally do. You can round that to 500 because we rounded this one to the nearest 100. You're just going to get a more accurate one if you round this to the nearest 10, which is what I did. So 1,380. Okay, so we got 4,980. Very, very close to that number down there. So we know that it's reasonable because when we rounded it, we got a very close number. And I'm sorry guys, we originally did that this was 500, but they still work out being very close to the actual number, so we know that we did it right. Okay, this one, 5 times 617. This is obviously not going to be right because what you're trying to do here is 5 times 600, 5 times 10, and 5 times 7. Well, that's just cray-cray. That's not going to work. This one is 5 times 60, not 600. This is 5 times 600. 5 times 1. This is not worth 1. That is worth 10. So, no. This one is 5 times 600, 5 times 10, and 5 times 7. This one is the correct way to break that down. Okay, which of the following is equivalent to 400 times 3 plus 36 times 3? This one obviously is not going to give you the right answer because you're breaking 436 into 3 equal groups. Very different problem. 400 times 10 is not going to give you anywhere near the correct answer because it doesn't have any of those numbers, doesn't have anything to do with it. 436 times 3 is the same thing as 400 plus 36 times 3, or 400 times 3 plus 36 times 3, which is that. And you can come down here and see that 400 times 3 plus 36 is not going to work out. And you can go through and work each one of those out and see what the value is to see which one matches. If you get confused.
Please come to the office.
Alright, number 13. Find 3 times 312. Draw a bar diagram to solve. So we talked about bar diagrams today. That one's very, very easy. You're just going to draw out your bar. You have 3 things, so you're going to break it into 3 sections, and you're going to put 312 in each one of those. And then you just add those together. So when we do that, we're going to wind up with 936, I think that's right, yes. Okay. Bee's Bakery bakes 215 cookies and 45 muffins every hour. How many baked goods are baked in 4 hours? So first thing you have to do is find out how many baked goods, how many nom-noms, are baked in an hour. Well, we've got this many cookies and this many muffins, but we need to know how much they bake, how many baked goods they do per hour. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to add these 2 numbers together to find out how many baked goods they're baking in an hour. So they're baking 260 things every hour, and we need to know how many they're baking in 4 hours. So you're going to work out 260 times 4. Alright, number 15. Write and solve an equation that represents the given bar diagram. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 48. Or 48 times 4, it's both the same, but you actually have to solve this one. I'm not going to do that for you. You could add those 4 together. You could solve it using multiplication. You can use whatever method you want. Number 16, which of the following is equivalent to 8 times 493, select all that apply. So we've got 8 times 400, 8 times 90, 8 times 3, and you're adding all of those together. That one is definitely correct. This one, they multiplied 8 times 400, so we're good there. And then they added 93 onto the end. No, can't do that. It won't work out. 493 times 8 is literally the same problem. They just used the commutative property and flip-flop those around, so that's okay. This one, they've done 8 times 500 minus 8 times 93. So this is saying that they're rounding this up to 500, and then they're compensating at the end by taking away 8 groups of 93, which is not going to work, because the way that you would do that is you would do 8 groups of 500, and you'd see how much did you add each time to get it up to 500. You added 7 every time, because 493 plus 7 gives you 500. So you have to take 8 groups of 7 back off of that answer, which is exactly what they did right there, 8 groups of 7. So this would give you the correct answer. All right, number 17, we did this one in class today, but I'll go over it quickly. So if they're purchasing a digital keyboard for each of his 3 nieces and 1 nephew, that's 4 kiddos, the keyboard costs $105. Mr. Luca thinks the total cost should be about $200. Is this amount reasonable? So when they're saying words like about and is it reasonable, they're wanting you to round and see if it's close. So if you're buying 4 keyboards at about $100, because that's what that would round to, that's going to tell you that they're going to be about $400, which is not anywhere near 200. So we're going to say, no, this amount is not reasonable. 4 times 100 equals 400. This is not close to 200. Okay? Part B, write and solve an equation to find the total cost of the keyboards. Explain why your answer is reasonable. So for this one, you're just going to actually work it out. 4 times 105. And for this one, the easiest strategy would be to use that compensation strategy that we used earlier. So we're going to do 4 times 100 and get 400. And then we need to add on a group of 5 for all 4 of them. So we're going to add on 4 groups of 5 to the end of it. So 4 groups of 5 is 20. We're just going to add 20 to that, and it will give us 420. And we can say we know our answer is reasonable because when we rounded earlier, we got 400. 420 is close to 400. So you can write, my answer is reasonable because $420 is close to my estimate of $400. And number 18, what is the product of 5 times 1,903? So 1,903. We don't have a tens place, so we just get to skip that one. And we're going to multiply these by 5. You're going to get 5,000. 5 times 9 is 45. I'm going to put my 2 zeros on there. 5 times 3 is 15. Now I'm going to add those together. This is going to give me 9,515. Number 19, how can you use mental math to find the product of 6 times 295? So, we did this one today as well. 295 is very close to 300. So we're going to do the problem 6 times 300. That's going to give us 1,800. Now, for each one of those numbers, we added 5 to get it up to 300. So we're going to have to take 6 groups of 5 back off of our answer. And the way that I explained it today, if you're still confused about it, you can write these out. So 295, 6 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we added 5 to each one of those, that would give us our groups of 300, right? Well, but we didn't really have 200, we didn't really have 300. We had 295, 6 groups of 295. So for each 5 that we added on to it to make it easier for ourselves, we had to take it back off of our answer. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. We have to take 30 off of our answer to get the real answer. So 1,800 minus 30 is going to be 1,770. And I did that by counting back by tens. Okay. Number 20, select all the partial products for 8 times 321. So you're going to do 300 times 8, 20 times 8, and 1 times 8. These are your partial products. So you've got 8 times 3 is 24 and 2 zeros. 2 times 8 is 16 and 1 0. 1 times 8 is 8. These 3 numbers are your partial products. 2,400, 160, and 8. You add all of those together. And that is your answer. And that's what they're asking down here is for your answer. Okay, I know I went through those really, really quickly. Feel free to go back and watch it again. Do whatever you need to do. If you come in tomorrow and you give me the password, Ploopy, I will give you 5 bonus points on your test, okay? Ploopy. You have to whisper it. Actually, no, don't whisper it to me. I want you to write it on your math test, and I'll give you 5 extra bonus points. Okay, bye!